Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I hope you all can hear me, see the screen clearly and visible. Yes, am I audible to everyone? And the screen is visible to everyone. Yes, everyone. Can you all hear me properly and see the screen clearly? Tell me something in the chat box if anyone is there. Yes, Shraddha, thank you so much. So today we'll be discussing about the second lecture of this chapter, that is photosynthesis in higher plants, plant physiology unit, chloroplast and its structure. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe our wonderful YouTube channel of BioPoint, stream the world of bio. This is an amazing Telegram group at BioPoint U where we conduct regular discussion, polls, quizzes, OMR sheet examinations, and updates on our classes. This is a crash course for Neet 2021 and join our Telegram group to know more about the crash course. Guys, from tomorrow onwards, definitely in the morning time, you will have the crash course. Okay, I was a bit busy for the past 2 days. That's why I was forced to drop the session. But tomorrow onwards, in the morning session, as we did earlier itself, we will be scheduling the session for the Neet 2021 crash course tomorrow onwards. Again, okay? Done, everyone? So, in the last class, we discussed about the experiments. In the last class, we discussed about the experiments conducted or the early experiments related to photosynthesis. So, at that particular time, what happened? We just forgot to discuss about these two scientists and their discovery. So, I'm going to have a glance at the name and the experiment of these two scientists, which would be the last part of that particular topic. So, and most important thing I have to tell you, I haven't expected this from you guys. Okay, because I've given this as a homework to you guys, but no one has commented the answer from any one of you at least. I don't know why you have done it like that, because I hope everyone was there for the session. And I told you also, after answering itself, you go only. Very easy question was this, but nobody answered. I hope you will answer it today. Have you all commented? I haven't received any notification like this. Okay, once again, I'll check it out. And today we'll be discussing about what? The structure of chloroplast. So, in 1937, a scientist known as Hill, he found out that the evolution of oxygen occurs in the light reaction performed by illuminated chloroplast in the presence of suitable electron acceptor and the absence of carbon dioxide. Actually, yes, good evening, Shivani. Good evening. Okay, so Hill was a scientist who just put forth that there are certain electron acceptor present inside the chloroplast. So in the next class, that is in the lecture number 3, we would definitely be discussing about the light reaction. There are two kinds of reaction: light dependent reaction or the light reaction, the light independent reaction or the dark reaction. So in that you will have certain electron acceptor. You will have certain electron acceptor. Can any one of you tell me the green colored pigment present in the chloroplast? Can any one of you comment me the green colored pigment present in the chloroplast? Yes, guys, fast. Fast, everyone. Very easy question, silly question. Fourth standard student would get it correct. Oh my god. Is it plastic? The green colored pigment present in the chloroplast. My god. Yes, chlorophyll. Yes, Have you got it? Chlorophyll is the green colored pigment present. Okay, chlorophyll. Yes, everyone have answered it correctly. Chlorophyll is the green colored pigment present inside the chloroplast. And can you name an element that forms the core center of the chlorophyll? An element present in as the core center of chlorophyll. When we study, for example, when we discuss about RBC, we studied that the main element present that forms the hemoglobin of the RBC is the iron. So exactly like that, green colored pigment which gives the most important function of the chloroplast is the chlorophyll. So it might also have a reaction center, or the center, core center is consisting of an element. Can any one of you tell me the name of that element? I'll give absolutely Shraddha. It is the magnesium. Magnesium is the core center of chlorophyll, or the element or the atom that forms the center of the chlorophyll structure. So from the chlorophyll, the magnesium, certain electrons, when light falls on this magnesium atom or the chlorophyll molecule, what happens? Electrons get evolved out, and the transfer of this electron actually leads to splitting up of water, formation of energy rich molecule, formation of glucose. So all these things happens because of this particular electron release. So Hill found out that evolution of oxygen occurs in the light reaction by the, and certain suitable electron acceptors are present inside the chloroplast. Next, I hope you are clear with it. Next, in 1941, another set of scientists, Reuben and Kamen. So Reuben and Hasid Kamen, they observed that oxygen evolved during photosynthesis was not from carbon dioxide but was from water, and that released oxygen was a heavy isotope of oxygen, that is O18. Actually guys, it is a typing mistake, O with the atomic number 18. Are you all clear with it? Clear? Clear with the topic, everyone? Yes. If any doubt, please ask. So now we are moving on to today's topic, that is photosynthesis, the site of photosynthesis, and the pigment responsible for photosynthesis. Guys, this is actually the chloroplast. We have to study about this, but as a quite introduction, I'm discussing this with you. This is the chloroplast. Can any one of you tell me how many membrane are there for a chloroplast? How many membranes are there for a chloroplast? Is it a single layered, or it is a double layered, or it's a triple layered, or a membraneless cell organelle? Which one? Absolutely. Chloroplast is a double membranous structures. We know that. What? It is a double membranous structures. So let's discuss in detail about each and everything related with the chloroplast and the site of the pigment responsible for the formation of the glucose and oxygen, or that helps in the process of photosynthesis. Ready everyone to discuss more about the chloroplast and its structures? Yes? Thank you. So, where does actually photosynthesis takes place? That is the site of photosynthesis. The first question we are going to get the answer right now. So photosynthesis takes place in the green leaves of the plant. Okay. So the photosynthesis takes place in the green leaves of the plant and the other green parts of the plant. Mostly takes place only in the green leaves of the plant. But we have studied about certain structures in the chapter morphology of flowering plants. Opentia, phyloclad, phylloid, cladod, all these things, right? Some of these structures helps are modified stems and modified leaves, which helps or performs the function of photosynthesis. Right? So the mesophyll cells, isn't it? We studied about all these things in those chapters. So the chloroplast, which is present in the walls of the mesophyll cells, very important one. Chloroplast, very important MCQ question. Chloroplast is found in the mesophyll cells, in the walls of the mesophyll cells. It helps to get the optimum quantity of incident light. So what is the chloroplast? Is present in the walls of the mesophyll cells, which helps it to attain or trap a minimum quantity or the necessary quantity of the incident light. Okay, everyone, listen, I'm going to draw it for everyone. Yes, very carefully listen to the diagram on the screen. Okay, very clearly. Or are you all ready? Yes. So we are going to discuss the structure of chloroplast. I hope I'll draw with this pen so that it's clearly visible. It makes you clearly visible. Okay, 1 second. Yes. Is it? So it consists of an outer membrane. Okay, guys, the structure, the diagram will not be such a perfect diagram, but in order to make you understand, I could make it draw it. Okay, is it any problem if it loses any perfection for you? So the chloroplast consists of two main layers. The diagram, I hope you all have opened down your NCRT, but in order to for me to explain it, I'm drawing the diagram so that I could explain it along with you. So the main part or the chloroplast mainly consists of two main structures. Okay, it mainly consists of two main structure, that is, this is the outer membrane. 1 second. Oh my god. Okay, this is the outer membranous structure. I label it. Okay, yes, this is the outer membrane of the chloroplast, outer membrane of the chloroplast, and this is the inner layer of the chloroplast. Already you all have told me that chloroplast is actually a double membranous cell organelle. You all have told me that the cell organelle is a double membranous cell organelle, which is the chloroplast. So it consists of an outer membrane and it consists of an inner membrane also. Okay, so inside this particular membrane, you would have a particular structure. Inside this membrane you would have a particular structure which is known as the stroma. Stroma, stroma, which is the what? Stroma is what? It is the liquid proteinaceous matrix of the chloroplast. It is a matrix of the chloroplast. Clear, everyone? Can you all see the diagram very clearly? So in the stroma, you will have certain membranous tags. You will have certain membranous tag. Okay, just arranged it like this. Can you all see the diagram? Yes. As a 4 or a 5 stacks of pile. Okay. I'm not drawing the exact diagram of your NCRT. I'm drawing it in such a way that it is easy for me to explain it to you. Okay. Clear, everyone? So this is what the structure which is known as the grana. I'm talking about the whole 4 or 5 substances, so the 4 or 5 structures which are arranged on it, and that structure together as a unit you will call it as grana or granum. And if we take a particular structure outward, that is this one particular structure, you will call it as the thylakoid. Okay, thylakoids, which is a one structure. So this one structure you will call it as the thylakoid. So what is grana? Grana is a sac-like structure which is made up of arrangement of 4 or 5 thylakoids. Done? Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear, everyone? Yes? Tell me, give me hearts on the screen, everyone. Thank you so much. So, that is all about the grana. What is grana? Grana is actually, which is the accumulation, or not accumulation, the arrangement of thylakoids. The arrangement of thylakoids together as a unit make up the grana. Yes, let's move on to the next portion. Okay, so these grana are interconnected by, actually I'm drawing it with another color, okay, in order to make you understand that. Actually, this is again a thylakoid itself, okay. A thylakoid itself is getting arranged like this, okay. They are interconnected. Okay, everyone. Okay, they are interconnected by a structure which is known as the stromal lamellae. Stromal lamellae, or this is according to the NCRT, new NCRT. If we are talking about the old NCRT, it is actually given over there as the fret. F-R-E-T, fret. Okay, stromal lamella or the fret, which are acting as the interconnections between the granum or the thylakoid membrane. There are certain structures inside this, but these are the main structures which we have to study in this chapter in detail. So you have to study. There are two main reactions. I have already told you photosynthesis consists of two main reactions, that is light reaction and the dark reaction. Light reaction means the reaction which happens in the presence of light, or light dependent reaction. Light dependent reaction and light independent reactions are there. So the light reaction takes place in the grana of the chloroplast. So the site of light reaction is the grana. The site of dark reaction is the stroma. Is it clear, everyone? Can I erase it? Can I erase it, everything from the screen? I'll be explaining now from these slides. Anyone is drawing along with me? Should I wait for 2 minutes for you to get it drawn? Or can I erase it? Yes, tell me. Do you need time to take it drawn? So I'll give you 1 minute. I'll wait for 1 minute. By the time you make a drawing, a rough sketch. Okay, after you draw, you tell me. I'll wait for just 1 minute. Just make a rough sketch. Follow the diagram in your NCRT. For diagram based question, For understanding the concept, you can make this as a rough diagram. After you draw the diagram, you can tell me. Okay. Shivani, have you finished it? Finished? Shivani, have you finished drawing? Yes, thank you so much. Yes, back to the class, everyone. To the slides. Actually, some kind of festival is going on in the nearby temple. My house is very close to a temple. Okay, every morning, every evening, you will hear all these things. Okay. I hope my sounds predominates and you can hear me clearly. Okay. So chloroplast, actually in the morning, it's really a positive energy. Okay. And at the backyard, we'll have a large field where cultivating rice and all these things. So in the morning, it's really have a look at all these things in the morning. It's really give a positive. Okay, yes, back to the class about chlorophyll. So photosynthesis takes place in the green leaves and other green parts of the plant. Chloroplast present in the walls of the mesophyll cells of the leaf helps to get an optimum quantity of the incident light. It consists of a membranous system. Which consists of a grana, stroma, lamellae and the fluid stroma. Have you all seen the diagram along with me? You have seen the membrane number 1, outer membrane. You have seen the membrane number 2, outer membrane. You have seen the grana that I have drawn for you and the stroma, lamellae or the fret and the fluid stroma also you have seen. Is it? So let's move on to the diagram. I hope the diagram you can clearly visible and see on the screen. Yes, I'll try to enlarge the diagram and yes. Yes. So this is a diagram which is given there in your NCRT. Okay, this is the diagram which is mentioned there in your NCRT. So it's very important we have to study this for a diagram based question. So it consists of an outer membrane which is the outer membrane of the chloroplast. It consists of an inner membrane also chloroplast. That is why that is a membranous system. So chloroplast is a membranous, double membranous. Okay, chloroplast is a double membranous cell organelle. And you have the grana which is actually formed by stacking of thylakoid. Okay, which is actually formed by the stacking of the thylakoid. Actually, thylakoid is a part of grana. Grana is formed by the arrangement of thylakoids. Okay. Then the fluid matrix. This is the fluid matrix. That fluid matrix you will get it as a stroma. And guys, what do you mean by stoma? I'm writing it a bit bigger. Guys, can any one of you, I'll give you 2 minutes to answer this question. Give the difference between stroma and stoma. If you know the answer, you can tell me yes and you can start writing your answer. And if you don't know, just tell me no and then I'll be able to explain it without wasting time. This is actually, we have reached only slide number 1 for the day. Yes, guys, fast. When my sounds get lower, the other sound gets bigger. Do you know the answer? First of all, tell me the definition of stoma and then tell me the definition of stroma. Everyone. No. How can we are studying about the structure of a chloroplast or the plant? How can it come in the abdomen? No. Guys, stoma is actually the other name for the structure which is most common to you, that is the stomata. So stomata is the short form or the short name, modified name of what? Of stoma or stomata. Stroma is the structure over here where it is a site of dark reaction. Stroma is a structure present on the chloroplast where dark reaction takes place. Have you all got the answer for the same? Then you will have the ribosome present inside the chloroplast. Then you have the starch granule and the lipid droplets, everything. Yes, yes, Shraddha, very good. Okay. Clear with it, everyone, the idea of chloroplast and its structures. So this is all about the structure. The enlarged diagram is already shown over here. So please take down the important points. Okay, the four main parts, and each granum is a group of membrane bound sac which is called the thylakoid, or actually the lamellae. I told you, right, stromal lamellae is also a type of a aura. It is actually what? It is also a part of thylakoid, or actually it is also a thylakoid. Yes, clear, everyone? Yes, thank you so much. Let's move on to the slide number 2. So, detailed explanation of all the things that we have been discussing. The same thing is being getting repeated again and again. So, let's discuss right from the double membranous structure onwards. Can you all see the screen very clearly? The writings and the diagram. So you can take a screenshot for this, guys. So the double membranous structures, it is an evidence for entosymbiosis. That is, entosymbiosis means of the independent origin. Then you have the stroma. Stroma is a region or the site for dark reaction or the light independent reaction. Thylakoid, you will have to study about photophosphorylation, photolysis, all these ETC, ATP, all these things details. So I'll tell about it in the last of this chapter as we approach, and as we study those points, we'll study it. Then you can take a screenshot and save it, because at the last it will give us a mind map for you guys. Next one. So the membrane system, we already studied that, the double membranous system. The double membranous system, its function is it traps the light energy and it helps in the synthesis of ATP and NADPH. What is NADPH? Reduced nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Guys, NADP, if NADP is the question, then nicotinamide adenine. Do you know the full form, or is it necessary for me to write it? Nicotinamide adenine. My writings won't be clear. That's why I'm asking. Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Okay. And if NADPH is coming, then you have to begin the full form with reduced nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. So, in stroma, which is the fluid matrix, the enzymatic reaction incorporates carbon dioxide into the plant for synthesizing sugar, which in turn forms the starch, and that is called the dark reaction. So guys, in the stroma, dark reaction takes place, and what is happening? Synthesis of sugar takes place, is the main step that takes place in the dark reaction of the Photosynthesis. In the light reaction of the photosynthesis, what happens? During the light reaction of photosynthesis, oxygen is evolved, and during the dark reaction, glucose is removed. Glucose is produced. So, as a result, as the equation of what photosynthesis suggests is that the main product is oxygen plus the glucose. Is it? Have you got it? So till the 10th standard, we have studied that the product of photosynthesis is oxygen and glucose. Oxygen comes from the water, and glucose, the oxygen comes from the carbon dioxide. Right? So as we move on to the higher classes in your 11th standard, this is what you have to study. The light reaction, both the substances are produced by two different reaction. During light reaction, oxygen is produced, and during dark reaction taking place in the stroma, glucose or starch is produced. Taken the important thing in this slide? Yes. Next, we are moving on to the pigments which are involved in photosynthesis. The pigments which are involved in photosynthesis. Okay, so guys, the pigment is not only green in color. There are many other pigments that helps in the process of photosynthesis. So what are actually pigments? This is one of the main important question for your board exams and all they can ask you. Not board exam, just a common question. Okay. Actually, for my 12th standard Viva, the invigilator have asked me this question. Okay. I was doing some experiment with the leaf. Okay, at that time they asked me something. They asked me which chapter do you need for me to ask on my exam. Okay, we can tell our own chapter. In our school, it was like that. So they have asked me which chapter do you need for the Viva boost. So I have told photosynthesis is enough. Animal, one chapter we have to tell, and plant also one chapter. It's not the same in all the schools. Okay, in my school it was like that. So I told photosynthesis. So they were asked me about the structure where photosynthesis takes place. So I replied as chloroplast. Then they asked me where is the chloroplast located, name the pigment which is present inside the chloroplast, and I told everything. And what are the other pigments? And finally, I answered all the four questions. And finally, the fifth question they asked me what is actually meant. We have been constantly speaking about there are carotene pigment, chlorophyll pigment, xanthophyll pigment. We have been constantly talking for the past few minutes about the term pigment. So what is actually pigment? So they have asked me a question like that. But since I have answered four of the above questions, they haven't reduced any of my marks. Okay. Actually, at that time, what is pigment? It was a fresh question to my mind. Okay, so it's a general GK based question. So what are pigments? They are the substances that have an ability to absorb light at specific wavelength. Okay, pigments are substances that have ability to absorb light at the specific wavelength. So I hope you know the structure or you know the concept about chromatography, or you will study about it detail in the chapter organic chemistry of your class 11th. Okay, we'll study in detail about it in the chapter of organic chemistry class 11th, and next year also surface chemistry chapter also you will learn about chromatography. Chromatography is actually a technique which is used to separate the colors. We would have studied in a lower class about magnetic separation, then hydraulic separation, magnetic separation, hydraulic washing, then froth flotation, leaching, all these things in the chemical metallurgy chapter you might have studied. So exactly like that, we have the chromatography also is a technique which is used to distinguish between colors. So you have different pigments, that is a chlorophyll A which is bright or blue green in color, then chlorophyll B which is yellow green in color, xanthophyll yellow in color, carotenoids yellow to yellow orange in color. Is it clear? Tell me yes or no on the chat box. Guys, this is how the separation of pigments by chromatography paper. or a paper chromatography technique, this is how it is done. Actually, it is made as a thick paste and using certain solution, what, according to their wavelength or according to their absorption capacity. Guys, please okay, thank you. So they are, according to the absorption capacity, what happens? The chlorophyll A gets attached, or the yellow green colored pigment get attached like this. Then the chlorophyll A would be made up like this. Xanthophyll would be like this, and you will have the carotenoid pigment like this. So it will just arrange it like that. So that is actually you separate the different colors which are present on the pigments or different pigments present in the leaf. Actually, chlorophyll B, xanthophyll, and carotenoids all are accessory pigments. All are accessory pigments. And what are the function of accessory pigments? They absorb the light of different wavelength and transfer the energy to chlorophyll A. And they protect the chlorophyll A from photo oxidation. What is photo oxidation and all we will study. Guys, when we talk about the electron transport system and all, you will study like this. Chlorophyll A is present in the center, and you will have the chlorophyll, the other pigments. The other accessory pigments are surrounding this. Okay, this may be chlorophyll, this may be carotenoids or xanthophylls or whatever. So what is the main function of this is actually, the sunlight would be absorbed by all these things. Okay, sunlight will not be directly absorbed by chlorophyll A, but will be absorbed by the accessory pigments, that is the chlorophyll B, xanthophylls, and the carotenoids. So these will transfer the solar energy into the chlorophyll A molecule. Is it clear? Yes. So this is actually a very important chart which is directly given in your NCRT. So I want each one of you to take out your NCRT and mark these diagrams. And one important request, please buy a new edition of NCRT. Okay, please take out or please buy a new edition NCRT. Okay, because there is a large difference between the previous NCRT, older edition, and the new one. In certain diagrams of certain chapters, in certain sentences, okay. Can you all hear me? Is it okay? Guys, can you hear me now? Am I audible? Is it? Please tell me. Yes, can we continue? Okay, so let's continue with the topic. So, the pigments which are involved in the photosynthesis. The absorption spectrum and the action spectrum coincide. All these things are chemistry, physics topic which you will study in chemistry and physics. Absorption spectrum and the action spectrum. Okay, Shraddha. Okay. So the absorption spectrum and the action spectrum closely showing that the photosynthesis is maximum at the blue and the red regions of the spectrum. This was performed by a scientist also, right? And we studied about them also in the last class in where we discussing about the early experiments of these scientists, right? Is it? Have I already told you about the absorption spectrum and the action spectrum? The cladophora and all aerobic bacteria growing in the blue and the red regions of the spectrum. And the graph also shows that chlorophyll A is the chief pigment. Chlorophyll A is the chief pigment associated with photosynthesis. Is the chief pigment associated with the photosynthesis. Guys, are you all hearing me? Or should I stop the class? Okay. So guys, I'll take about this particular graphs in as a separate class. Okay, at the last I'll take a separate class about these all graphs. Okay. Done, everyone? So next is the photosystem. Next is the topic of photosystem. Let me check how many slides are left out. Yes. Photosystem means actually the photopigment. Okay, there are pigments. Photopigments we are talking about, or the photosystem. They are organized into photosystems called photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. So guys, there are two main photosystems present in the chloroplast, that is PS1 and PS2. And what made the classification between these two? On this classification is based on the wavelength. The wavelength of light absorbed by this particular system. Done. One absorb a wavelength of light having 700 nanometer and one will absorb a wavelength of below that also. Okay, so we are going to discuss in detail, and each photosystem has a chlorophyll A and the accessory pigments bound by the protein. I already told you, if this is the chlorophyll A molecule, it is bound by certain accessory pigments. In the last one I shown you a diagram like this. Okay, the main pigment or the center will be on the center, that is the chlorophyll A, which would be surrounded by the accessory pigments. So all pigments except one molecule of chlorophyll A forms an LHC or the light harvesting complex or an antennae molecule. Chlorophyll A, single chlorophyll A act as a reaction center. Very important MCQ question. Okay, chlorophyll A act as a reaction center. Then we already discussed that PS1 and PS2. What do you actually mean by PS1 and PS2? What is PS1? The reaction center absorbs a light at a wavelength of 700 nanometer. Or you can either call it as P700 also. You can call it as P700 or 700 nanometer wavelength. So PS1 or P700. PS2 absorb, or photopigment system 2 absorbs the light having a wavelength of 680 nanometer, and hence you can call it as P680. Is it clear, everyone? So P, photos pigment system 1 absorbs a light of wavelength 700 nanometer, and the photopigment system 2 absorbs the light of wavelength 680 nanometer. Those who are hearing it for the first time. Those who are hearing it for the first time, is it clear? Is it clear for everyone? So guys, this is the reaction center. Okay, this is the reaction center or chlorophyll A. The light will be coming as a packet. In this chapter, atomic structure, you have studied about the photon, right? Photon or the packets. So all these would absorb the light and would pass on to the pigment system or the reaction center. The auxiliary pigments actually absorbs the light and will pass on to the pigment system. What happens? One of the electron, this central magnesium atom gets excited and it will give out the electrons, and it will give out one electron. Okay, so guys, in the next class, that is on the next class, that is lecture number 3, when we are discussing about the light reaction and the dark reaction, I'll be telling only PS1, PS2. So you have to understand that I will ask you what is the wavelength of light that they absorb. You have to reply me P700 and P680. So photopigment system 1 absorbs a light of wavelength 700 and photopigment system 2 absorbs a light of wavelength 680. Clear? So in the next class, we will be studying about the light reaction of the photochemical phase. So let's move on to the quiz time. Ready for the quiz, everyone? Ready for a quiz, everyone? Ready, everyone? Yes. Tell me the answer for the question. Name the pigment which is responsible. Name the pigment which is responsible for the absorption of light in the plants. Chlorophyll, stoma, xylem, phloem. Very easy question. 6th standard level question, but previous year AIPMT question. Previous year AIPMT question. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. The correct answer is option A, chlorophyll molecule. Chlorophyll is the pigment which is responsible for the absorption of light in the plants. Question number 2. Name the metal present in the chlorophyll A as well as chlorophyll B. Name the metal present in the chlorophyll A and the chlorophyll B. Easy question. Tell me whether it is iron, copper, magnesium or manganese. Oh my god, guys, you are taking a lot of time. Yes, absolutely. The correct answer for the question is option C, magnesium. Okay. Magnesium is the metal present in the chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Question number 3 on your screens. Phycobilins, that is phycoerythrin and phycocyanin, are accessory pigments found in green plants, blue-green algae and red algae, blue-green algae and diatoms, red algae and brown algae. Actually, this is a question which is clubbed. Since pigment is the term coming from this chapter, it is clubbed with this chapter. Actually, this is a question coming from the chapter Plant Kingdom, Thalophytes, about the alga plants over there and biological classification. Tell me, just give a guess, guys. Don't waste too much of time. The time is exceeding. It's reaching 1 hour for the class. Yes, the correct answer for the question is option B, green alga and red alga. Red algae, you have to search for the red algae only over there. Why? Phycoerythrin. Phycoerythrin is a pigment present in red algae. Phycocyanin you can see in the blue-green algae also. Shivani, is it clear? Only Nila have given me the answer as option B. Shivani, is it clear for you? A small confusion, right? Yes. So guys, that's all about today's class. In the next class, we would be beginning with the light reaction or the light dependent phase. Photochemical phase. Done. See you in the next class, guys. Bye bye. Have a good day. Be prepared. You have to do the questions of this today itself. I'll send you the questions by today night. Okay, by night I'll send you the question. Be ready for the next class.